Well, I'm speechless, or as speechless as I ever get. Yeah, I'm on the Llyn Peninsula here in Wales, and well, I saw a photo of that building over there on Flickr the other day, and it was a profile shot, and it looked like a building. So you can imagine my shock when I've just turned up 10 minutes ago to see that. No way. Anyway, it still looks nice, so we'll go and start over there. You'd never know from this angle, would you? Anyway, yes, I saw a photo, I think from this angle, of that building on Flickr, and I've decided to come here to see what else is about, other than a building that's actually not a building. There is one other twist today. You might remember a couple of months ago, I made a video that was sponsored by mpb.com, where I borrowed a 135mm lens and took it to Iceland. And today's video is also sponsored by mpb.com. And I borrowed two more lenses. This, which is a 24mm F1.4 and an 85mm F1.4 as well. Now they're both the Sony GM lenses, so I'm very excited to use them. And the plan is that every single photo I take today will be taken at F1.4, just to sort of spark some creativity, hopefully. And we'll see how we go. It's not particularly low light at the moment, but it'll be a fun challenge. Okay, photo number 2, I've popped the 85mm on for, and essentially I just want to capture a slice of the coastline from this angle. Lots of contrast in that scene. I mean, it is quite hazy today, but there's lots of black in the rock, and obviously lots of light in the sky, and I'll probably try and accentuate that in post-production. Lots of detail in the sky that doesn't necessarily add anything to the scene, but it may do in post. We'll see. Anyway, get on with this shot, shall we? Tell you the truth, what I could really use, as is often the case, is a bird flying through the scene. Can't see any though. The other thing that I could do with from here is some foreground somewhere. I mean, I can't see any, but basically if you're going to shoot at f1.4, you might as well try and frame the scene with something that's incredibly out of focus. Like this fence up here. Would this work? Lots of barbed wire. A bit further back, I think. Probably just looks a little bit odd at 85mm because you're a bit too close to it to be able to tell what these posts really are. Okay, maybe here. Don't necessarily know what the story is with the barbed wire fence and the coastline, but that's along the line of the thinking that I need to be using today. Foregrounds so that I can make the images three-dimensional, which is what they should be if you're shooting with such a shallow depth of field, I think. There might be a shot with this fence at 24mm, but we'll try that later. For the time being, we'll have another go at this, and then we'll explore around there. I mean, it's even got nice, neat tiles on the roof. Bird, 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 bird. I think I probably need to learn some bird species. Too often on this channel, I just shout bird, which I don't think is massively educational. Right, that way. For what it's worth, I think that was some sort of goose. I could be wrong. I'm sure some of you will shout at me in the comments if I am. Really should have asked for some sort of bird book for Christmas. Maybe next year. Another profile shot from this side this time, obviously. In fact, actually, if I go a bit further back, don't trip on that, and a bit higher up, you get a bit of the coast in the background too, which is obviously nicer. It's a bit tricky this actually. If I stand on top of these, might be able to get a dead-on profile shot. Yes, a dead-on profile shot with the rocks all in the scene too. I'll just have another quick look at this fence image with the 24. I might be completely wasting my time, but just have a quick look. 24's a bit wide, I think. Right, now I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro, but I'm quite excited to see what this little hut is about. But first off, I want to get the 85 back out because you can just see the faint silhouette of the mountains in the background, just further up the Llyn, and I think that looks pretty nice, or will do, at 85mm. Let's have a go. I already wish I'd brought a messenger bag with me for changing lenses. It would have made things much easier today, but never mind. Right, silhouette's still just about visible. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, in a nutshell, I would say this is exactly my kind of image, because you've got a subject that's full of question marks as far as I'm concerned. What is that building? What's it used for? How long's it been there? When's the last time someone was in it? All these questions come up to me when I see that straight away, and it's surrounded by just interesting pieces of land that with shallow depth of field you can kind of lead the viewer's eye towards the subject with. Love it. And even better, there's plenty of other little shacks and cabins and all that kind of stuff down here. What a little gem of a beach this is. I've switched back to the 24mm, by the way. I'm sure it's fairly obvious which lens I've got on based on the images, but I'll try and keep you up to date. Ooh, water bottle, pick that up. Someone's sawn off welly or something, clog. I've got room in my bag for all this stuff. I love huts like that, as I'm sure you've noticed. The tricky thing is though, trying to photograph them in their environment. So not just taking photos of the huts, but trying to show exactly where they are and how they relate to the land that they sit in. That's particularly tricky with these ones because it's the front of these huts that are so interesting to look at. But that means you've got your back to the sea, and they've not even got windows. If they had windows, you might be able to play around with the reflections of the sea, but that's clearly not an option with these ones. Yep, tricky. Well, that was an amazing little beach, and I'm just on my way down to another little beach down here. It started to rain, but that's okay. And I'm conscious at the moment that I'm not making complete use all the time out of shooting at F1.4 in terms of creating depth in the scene. Some of the stuff I've been doing is just documenting really, and that could have been done at any aperture. So I'll try and keep that in mind. I don't know if there's anything down here. No, nothing down there. Let's go somewhere else. Oh yes. Well, that's just magic. There's a load of spray coming off those rocks over there. Beautiful. Well, I'm sorry about the sudden change of destination and day. It's the next day, as you might have guessed from the fact that the light is completely different. Same trousers though, incredibly. Usually I wear these for about 20 minutes and it looks like I've rolled through a pigsty. Never going to buy a pair of trousers of this colour ever again. Don't know why I did. Anyhow, yes, I wanted to come back out today to finish this little video because I wanted to shoot a little bit in good light, but also bad light, which is, I suppose, at least in part, one of the main reasons you would buy a lens that can shoot at F1.4. Get a shot of this handsome chap. Need the 24mm here really, so I shall do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a terribly weird place to be shooting F1.4 with a wide angle lens, because there's lots of depth in the scene. I mean, you've got this rock, these rocks, those rocks, then that headland over there. And as far as I'm concerned, they all have fairly equal weighting in the frame, so they should all be in focus. But obviously you can't do that at F1.4 unless you're focus stack, and that's really not the point of today. So bit of a weird one, but hey ho.
Take a guess, ladies and gentlemen, as to whose car keys spent the entire golden hour next to a rock pool. Mine. Yes, I missed golden hour because I was frantically looking for them. Luckily, there wasn't that much light, it all clouded over, so could have been worse. And there wasn't really much of a blue hour either, it was more sort of grey, so never mind. In any case, I really enjoyed my short period of time with those fast primes, and I think you'd assume that as somebody who really hates tripods, I would have spent more time with lenses like that, but I really haven't, and I found it quite fun. I think a lot of the time people do assume that lenses like that are useless for landscape photography, or at least the maximum apertures are useless for landscape photography, but I didn't find that to be the case. And sure, when you shoot deep scenes, you do want more than one thing in focus, but for the most part, if you've got one subject and you want to amplify that subject by using shallow depth of field, obviously those lenses are great. And for shooting in the dark, they're fantastic as well. I mean, I was shooting when it was basically pitch black at 125th of a second on my 85mm lens, and I was still at the base ISO, so that's pretty impressive. And as I've touched on, the price you have to pay for that is that not much of your scene is in focus. But if that doesn't matter, then it's great. Anyway, a big thank you for watching, and also a huge thank you to the sponsor of this week's video, mpb.com. Now, if you've not heard of mpb.com, they are, in my opinion, the best place to buy and sell used camera gear. And they recirculate over 300,000 pieces of gear every single year to over 250,000 photographers. And I am one of them. So I've bought lots of gear on mpb.com, I've sold lots of gear on mpb.com, and I've had fantastic service every time I've done so. And if you're buying a piece of kit, you'll get a 6-month warranty on that piece of gear. And if you're selling, then it's super simple to get a quote. And if you're happy with that quote, they'll arrange for collection of your gear and you'll be paid promptly as soon as they receive it. It's brilliant. So if you're in the market for something new, definitely check out mpb.com. Or if you're looking to free up some cash by selling something that you've not used for a long time, I'd highly recommend checking out mpb.com. I've put the links in my description, so yes, definitely check them out. Right, I'm going to go and burn those trousers, because not only do they look ridiculous, they nearly cost me my car keys. So yeah, get rid of them. I won't burn them. Charity shop. I might keep them.